There's a knock on the door.
Shit.
The king's dead! He swings his legs off the bed and runs over to a tall dresser standing up against the wall.
This is the Badger.
Lord Richter.
About the badger.
Yeah.
Hearing this, we both turn our heads towards the door and raise our brows, almost in unison. Lyle is in the middle of pulling his pants up around his waist and has his belt in his mouth. We bring our voices down to a whisper. How do they know I'm in here? How loud was I?
Maybe someone...
Shaw?
Wait, what is he?
Got a
Maybe
belt
someone
now.
saw you... okay, got it. Maybe
Oh.
someone saw you heading this way?
Yes, but... I think what Adria said earlier, and it sends a shiver up my spine. Just a moment.
Is there supposed to be a knocking sound effect, or is that just not coming through?
I heard it.
How's the... It's
Okay.
very...
It just
I could like just barely make it out, but it's not very loud compared to the crackle of the fire, I think.
It's like a doot
got
doot.
it.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not very loud in general.
I can hear that sound test, but okay. Got it.
I yell this towards the door as I put on my slacks and throw my shirt on without buttoning it. I walk towards the door and open it. It's the servant from earlier.
He looks high.
He looks, yeah, the red eyes. Yes?
Lord Richter, the king wishes to see you in his chambers.
Oh, right. And so begins the day of Richter the Service Top. I had completely forgotten that he wanted to speak with me later.
He left during the ball to take care of some urgent business. I was sent to come and get you some time ago, but you were no longer there. I'm told you left the ball, with Sir Reed following behind you.
He leans in and stares at Lyle, standing there shirtless. Yes, I did. There was a slight altercation, but all is well. His nose twitches and he straightens up.
The king has been waiting a long time. I suggest you find him at once.
I'll leave as soon as I can.
Very well. I trust you can find your way. His room is right down this hall and up the stairs.
I'll be there as soon as I can. I start to close the door slowly as I say this.
Good.
After closing the door softly, I lean against it. I guess I should get dressed.
I'll come with you.
No, it's fine. It shouldn't take long. I'll be back as soon as I'm done. Plus, I want you in that bed when I get back.
Oh my
We
god.
didn't pick up where we left off. Goddamn.
Oh my god.
Richter's undefeatable.
I think I'm gonna go clean up if that's okay with you.
Aw.
Silly, you don't need my permission.
Silly.
I quickly put my clothes on and head for the door. How does my hair look?
It looks as great as ever, love.
You sure?
Of course.
Alright. I'll be back in a few minutes, hopefully. Love you.
Love you too.
Closing the door behind me, I turn and begin to walk down the hall. It's a very long hallway with a lot of doors that most likely lead to other royal apartments. I reach the end of the hallway and there's a large archway that leads to a pair of spiral stairs going up. Judging by where I think we are in this castle, I'd suggest this leads to one of the towers. This feels familiar somehow. A lot of things feel familiar lately. There are two guards standing at the front of the entrance to the stairs. It takes me a moment, but I realize that these two are the two guards from a while back. The ones that were patrolling the hall after Lyle and I had met Kadaj. The bear stands straight with a large bastard sword pointing at the floor in front of him. The eagle is leaned against the wall with a dull look on his face. I approached the entrance and paused to wait for their approval. The bear looks down at me with a crooked smile.
You've kept our king waiting. Oh,
Bite.
you go.
Okay, I guess I'll take it. You've kept our king waiting an awfully long time, little lord.
I turn and give him an incredulous look before walking forward. They aren't worth my time. Nobody is. Nobody but him.
Richter.
Okay, calm down.
I know you just got laid. I know the hormones are running high, but
Yeah, he's right. He's hype. You're literally meeting the king. I start to ascend the staircase, and as I reach the top, I realize this isn't that large of a climb. It's only about 20 or 30 steps. When I reach the top, there's a common area with a large set of double doors, with the Ossian crest in the center, surrounding the symbol of Tigran. Large bushes filled with flowers adorn the ceiling of this area, and a big window shines moonlight onto the flowers. Petals fall onto the ground in front of me, and as I step forward, I feel the leaves crunch into my shoes. Raynar loves his plants. I reach the doors and pull one of them open. It's a lot less heavy than I thought it would be, and it swings open with ease. That's ominous.
yeah.
Some water. Dying over here. All right.
Not the only one, probably.
Oh no. One of the first things I notice is a large amount of curtains and drapes. They obscure the moonlight and I can barely see a thing. The room is more like a large hall framed with canopies of white cloth, almost completely obscuring the walls and ceiling, like the ballroom. It's like I just walked into a larger version of a child's blanket fortress. I can see a canopy bed up ahead with large drapes and a small bit of light off to the right. The headboard is decorated with large antlers formed from silver. I'd say that chills run down my spine for some reason, but I think I have several reasons. Why is it so dark in here, and where is he? Maybe he got tired of waiting for me and left? I'm not sure if the ball is still going on anymore, considering it's been a couple hours. Hell, the village's festival ended much earlier in the day. I wouldn't be surprised if the ball didn't go too late into the night either. Everyone would have to go back to work tomorrow, so I'd understand them wanting to go to sleep early. I can feel myself getting slightly delirious too, and all I can think about is crawling back into Lyle's bed. I snap back to reality and realize my thoughts were trailing off again. I don't want to snoop around his room without him here, so I turn towards the doors and grab the handle. No. Something catches my eye right before I leave. This isn't right. Well, yeah, I don't know why he'd be leaving. The guards are like, kept him waiting a while, as if to imply he's still here.
Yeah.
There's a framed painting that has fallen to the floor of one of the dressers. The glass slate on the inside is broken and pieces are scattered across the carpet. Slowly, I walk up to the frame, brushing aside the ivory drapes. It feels like I'm walking through a giant spiderweb. I kneel down to the floor and slide a bit of the painting out from the frame. It's a portrait of the royal family. It's small but extremely detailed. The queen is sitting in an elegant chair, wearing an orange and white dress. What was the ellipses?
That is really curious to me because I can't tell. We've had a couple of times where we've had a voice talk to us in our head, but it also could be someone in the room.
Yeah, like,
I'm leaning towards voice in our head.
I'm leaning towards someone's in the room.
Yeah, what's throwing me is just that it was from a question mark character, which implies that it was audible in some way, as in like specifically that Richter heard it, but he's not reacting to it. He was like, no, something's wrong, but now he's just like, oh, check out this thing. He's like, wouldn't... we haven't been
The thing that's weird to me is like Richter doesn't seem to say like, I just heard something.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're not
like,
we're
who's
not, we're
that?
not told what he thinks it is, whether it's like in
Got
his
it.
head or in the room or what. It's like that's it feels weird to not know what page the protagonist is on when we just had him perceive something, because he moved on to just observing this picture, but he's like not looking for the source of the sound at all, or telling us
I've got
why he's not.
a list of Richter doing things like that at this point. Of like, oh, the scars. I don't know. I don't know where those came from. Anyways,
The queen is sitting in an elegant chair wearing an orange and white dress, something that you would wear outdoors during the spring. On her lap is a small Adrius. He's smiling and holding his mother's hand. She's grinning down at him, and I notice her eyes are a beautiful golden brown, just like her son's. Behind the two of them is Raynar, his hand on her shoulder, looking down at the two of them. His face is plastered with a large grin, which feels weird because I don't think I've seen him smile like that before. I take the portrait and I set it down on the dresser. As I turn to my left, I notice something even more disturbing. There's large rips throughout the canopy of the bed. The moonlight shines through them and casts small strips of light onto the neatly made bed. What happened here? I toss a few drapes aside and rush towards the window on the other side of the bed. Uh-huh. You were just gonna leave without looking around?
I have the feeling the guards are in on this. Could you imagine? It's like, are you sure you didn't look a little bit more? He's probably still in there.
I was also going to point out, like we mentioned last time, that like characters in this game aren't very good at hiding their intentions, but that badger has given you nothing but Alexio's face every time he's on screen.
He's like, when he said that, good, I was like, oh, he did it.
I'm just like, one, now you're gonna feel guilty about, there's this forever guilt associated with you railing Lyle, but also, I would just rearrange the scene slightly and have it be like, remove the part where you're about to leave, because that barely makes any sense, and just be like, you look at the portrait and you're like, what's going on here? And you're noticing the rips, and then you hear the sound, you're like, ah! But him like being about to leave, then not leaving, then hearing an ellipses but not detailing it, then going to the picture instead of investigating was like a strange order.
He's been poisoned.
That was a good effect, yeah.
That was cool. That was a really wild lightning effect. I'm gonna go back. Ooh.
Damn, Mac.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Lightning strikes outside, illuminating and casting a bright light onto the surface of every object in the room. At first I don't believe what I'm looking at. It's like when you're trying to remember a dream from the night before and it's all blurry and distorted. No. Raynar's laying on the ground in a crumpled position. His legs are spread out and sticking out from behind the bed. That's when I noticed the blood. The curtains shine with the crimson substance, and there's even a few spots where it's been smudged. The front of his body is splattered with a few strands and drops of it, and his hooves glisten with scarlet liquid. My legs become weak, and I drop to my knees. My hands fall to the blood-stained floor to catch myself. No, no, no. I bring my face up to look at him, and I see his own. His eyes are wide open, and his head is angled toward the window. They look as if they're staring at nothing, with tear stains streaming down his cheeks, empty and glazed. I'm not sure if he's completely dead yet or not. The body still looks fresh. His throat has been cut to the bone, blood pooling out onto his chest, and then onto the floor beneath him, creating a dark puddle. I think I can also see several stab wounds in his chest, but it could also be the stains. Surprisingly, it doesn't look like blood was sprayed everywhere. I watch most of it slowly seep out of his throat in thick coagulated streams. My eyes start to water, but no tears come out. I'm too shocked by the situation. A foolish thought enters my mind that this might just be one of those nightmares. I imagine waking up in Lyle's arms as he comforts me. That's not going to happen, though. This isn't a dream. I describe it as a nightmare, but it's not one of those either. This is real. My eyes! Thunder flashes outside again, and I can see the reflection of it in his eyes. Who did this? There are guards outside the entrance to this tower. Yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh god, they're gonna pin it on me.
Yeah, like this is all a trap. Like, you're just completely screwed now because you're the person in the room with the body that is either hasn't been discovered or is being pretended to not be discovered. To my left is a dagger. The blade is dripping with blood and it stains the carpeted floor it rests on. It doesn't look like a special blade. The dagger looks like something you would buy at your average smith. My eyes trail back up to his cold face, and the reality of the situation comes down upon me like a flood. I look up and notice some of the blood has been dripping off one of the drapes and onto my coat. There's already a large stain forming. At first, my body doesn't know what to do. I'm stuck kneeling there on the ground, frozen in fear. My heart is beating out of my chest, and 1,000 thoughts are running through my head. Questions that I so desperately wish to have answered. I try to stand up, but it takes me a moment. My head is splitting open again, and I can barely think. Once I'm on my feet and dry my tears, I take a look around. I have to go and tell someone. The guards. I stumble toward the door, not looking back. The ellipses again. As I'm making my way around a desk, one of my legs gives out and I collapse to the floor. No. All of a sudden, a massive pain shoots up my spine and through my head. Why now? The pain becomes unbearable, and I let out a horrible yell of agony. My eyes feel like they're about to fall out of my head. The door up ahead opens.
Your Majesty? Yours.
He cuts himself off, and I hear him turn to someone behind him as I struggle to get up.
Something's wrong. Stay here.
At this point, I can barely hear the sounds of heavy footsteps over my own heartbeat. I manage to bring myself to a kneeling position.
Stop right there.
He stands over me with his sword drawn.
What of you?
He looks at me, and then down at my hands before rushing over to the bed, his cape billowing behind him. At first I don't hear anything. It's as if the whole world has gone silent. All I can hear is the blood rushing through my veins.
Finn. Alert the castle. King Raynar is dead.
What? But he was only in here for...
Go, now. I'll deal with it.
I hear footsteps run out into the hall and down the stairs. Slowly, I wrench my body around so I'm facing the knight. He prepares to raise his sword.
You'll die for this, foreign scum.
My heart is racing and I find myself unable to get a clear sentence out. I quickly gather myself. He brings his sword down and I swiftly roll to the side. His sword catches in the ground and gets stuck. I'm now on all fours and try to break into a sprint. I can't remember the last time I've done this. I don't have time to revel in my reflexes, though. My feet slip on the floor, but I regain control and bound towards the door. Just as I reach the entryway, the rug gives out and I slip, slamming my forehead into the ground. Everything goes hazy, and in an act of sheer will, I lift myself up and turn around, trying to regain my vision. The bear has pulled his sword out of the ground and is lumbering toward me. Please, you're making a terrible mistake.
What is the meaning of this?
Oh, thank God, our alibi. See, I couldn't have killed the king because I was balls deep in...
I was gonna say balls deep specifically.
The question is, who's framing him? and whether or not that person is just as comfortable discarding Lyle and along with him, and how this is gonna go. I see you have, like, titty molded armor. Lyle rushes into the doorway, his paw placed on the pommel of his dagger, ready to draw. I watch his eyes settle on me, and then he looks up to the bear.
Sir Bjorn, lay your sword down this instant. He killed the king. This is a different voice. I should have let Jericho take this one.
I can do a different deep voice. He killed the king. His eyes contract, and I watch the fear wash over his body.
What?
He looks behind us at the body laying on the floor. I caught him trying to run away from the scene of the crime. No, it wasn't like that. I was running to... Quiet. Lyle then looks down at me. His face has a mixture of shock and anger. He looks up at Bjorn.
Lay down your sword!
His voice is shaking. This is the first time I've heard him shout, and it's terrifying. Bjorn is reluctant, but he lowers his sword. He walks up to me and stands over me for a moment. Lyle, please. It wasn't me. He looks down at me with fear and then looks up at Bjorn. I can see he's clearly conflicted. My heart is thumping in my chest, and I feel like I feel like a cornered animal. Lyle then bends down and grabs my arm. He's not gripping me too hard, but slowly lifts me up.
Lord Richter, you are under arrest for suspicion of crimes against the Kingdom of Lyre and the murder of King Raynar Osaya.
He takes a pair of shackles and binds my hands behind me. What? Is this seriously happening? Lyle, you know I didn't do it. I know. He's strategically arresting you to get out of the range of the guy who's trying to murder you with a sword. Bjorn is standing by the king, clearly not happy with this outcome. I'll take him to the dungeons.
No. I'll take him. Has the rest of the castle already been alerted?
I see him tighten his grip on the pommel of his dagger. Yes, I sent Finn to alert the castle. His grip loosens and I feel him tug on my shackles. As we turn away, he whispers in my ear quickly. It's an extremely quiet whisper, but I pick up on it.
Trust me.
A slight wave of relief washes over me. I don't know what he could possibly have planned, but anything is better than being executed on the spot for a crime I didn't commit. He begins to lead me to the door.
Bjorn, I need you to stay here and wait for the others to arrive. I'm sure that they will be here soon.
Understood. Bjorn lumbers over to Raynar's body, getting down on one knee. He's got those eye bags that make you know he's like, oh, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
They're not sympathetic stoner eye bags. They're like, I'm a Sith Lord eye bags. I'm ready to kill people. Just, I don't know, kind of looking for the excuse, honestly, eye bags. Lyle leads me out into the hallway and he almost breaks into a sprint. He doesn't talk. He just looks straight ahead. After we descend the spiral staircase, he slows his pace a bit. I can't tell if he's angry at me or not. Lyle, you know I didn't do it, right? More silence. I hear bells start to toll off in the distance. They send a foreboding feeling running up my spine. My eyes start to water as the fear takes over. Every part of my body is shaking. We come to a junction in one of the hallways. There's a loud commotion up ahead, so he takes me down another hall. Once we reach ground floor, we spot Kadaj walking down the hall with 2 Drizzian guards behind him. Lyle keeps moving forward, not paying him any mind.
Richter, what in the name of Tigran has happened?
Lyle ignores this and keeps walking. All I can do is look at him with a desperate expression. I don't know what I can do right now. I'm still recovering from the shock, but I find it very hard with all the shaking. I think Kadaj realizes something is terribly wrong, so he starts to walk faster toward the commotion, his guards following quickly behind him. We descend further and further down to the castle's lower floors. It becomes colder and colder, and I can feel goosebumps rising on my skin. Lyle takes me down a hall with several cell doors. He goes to the very end and unlocks a door that leads to a large cell. It's terribly dark down here. My eyes don't have time to adjust to the shadows. I barely even see Lyle.
Richter.
Yes? I hear him fall to his knees. He's crying, I can tell. He wraps his arms around me and pulls me into a tight hug. While he does this, he also unlocks the restraints around my wrists. They fall to the ground behind me with a thud, landing on something soft.
I'm so sorry. I should have went with you from the beginning. I didn't want you to feel like I was babying you. I should have gone with you, though. It's my job. I should have gone with you. I should have...
I grasp his face from what I can see in the dark and give him a kiss. You couldn't have known. Although you might have if you were doing your job. Because your job to guard the king tonight. It's a little disgraceful. It's like, sorry, I couldn't be an alibi or defend him because I was full. He was a Boston cream donut and he had to take a bathroom trip.
Oh my goodness!
And that's the reason why fucking Richter was alone, and that's the entire reason that he's currently wanted for murder. That's the plot.
If the king apparently because he said he got someone to cover for him at the ball. We don't know if the king had or had not already left at that point, but it was was somebody else supposed to be guardian of the king for him, or?
Yeah. But yeah, if he went with Richter, then he would have had an alibi. I was gonna say, oh, thank God my alibi's here, but I'm like, oh right, that just Lyle can prove that Richter was elsewhere before then, but the guards are going with the idea that he just walked in and killed the king just right then, just
right,
just in seconds, just immediately,
immediately trained assassin.
Hi, Renard. Nothing personal, King.
Just gasps. Amazing soundproof door.
Yeah. He gasped and let out a shaky exhale. I mean, it probably is on some level. Either the guards did it, or know about it, or it is a pretty soundproof door. Because somebody, I guess if it's a neck slice, maybe he couldn't really make much noise at that point. But somebody did do it right next to them, if that's the story, which makes sense because there are several options for assassins in this narrative, including the assassins. He gasps and lets out a shaky exhale.
What happened up there?
I don't know. I walked into his chambers and the entire place was dark. He wasn't there, so I went to leave, but then saw how trashed the room was. After that's when I found that I can't buy the narrative that Richter looked around and then was gonna leave when the king was slightly behind a bed. It's just not that much looking around. After that's when I found him. My hand comes up to my mouth as I remember the vivid imagery. I try my best to hold myself back from vomiting. Thankfully, I keep it down. I don't know why they think it was me. Because I thought he was alive.
You were there.
And then you went in the room, and then he was dead. And you yelled, and you have blood on your head. It's not that complicated.
I'm just a twink. I couldn't take him even if I wanted.
You were found at the scene of the crime. Nobody else could have gotten in there, so it had to be you in their eyes.
Then why was he dead?
I don't know. The body was freshly killed, too.
You don't actually think I...
Of course not.
He lets out a shaky sigh and hugs me.
I had to arrest you. Otherwise, you would have been executed on the spot.
Why were they going to do that?
Richter. They aren't supposed to, but Bjorn isn't a rule follower. He likes to seek justice in his own way.
Like by killing the king. He pauses and I can feel him shaking. Lyle, you just saved my life. He hugs me tighter and then releases me.
You'll have to spend the night here.
Okay.
And I'll have to go.
This makes my heart sink, but I accept it. Okay.
So sorry. We will get this all sorted out, don't worry. They'll understand. What in the world are you talking about?
With that, he gives me a soft kiss on the cheek. He stands and I can hear him lock the door behind me.
I love you, Richter. I'll come back for you.
Read the prince.
The prince is dead!
Yes, I know.
The last noise I hear, other than the chiming bells, is the sound of his footsteps as they run off. I don't know what to do. A million thoughts run through my head, but they all conjoin at the same path. What happens next? I find a stone bench in the dark and lay down on it. Tears stream down the side of my face, but I don't care anymore. All I can do is succumb to the darkness as I pass out. No dreams tonight. Just one word echoes through my mind like a bell.
Wait.